In this lesson, we will look at irrational numbers. Before we talk about irrational numbers, let's look at a theorem. If p is a prime number and p divides a square, then p divides a, where a is a positive integer. So now let us try to prove this theorem. A can be expressed as product of primes p1, p2, p3, so on to pn based on our fundamental arithmetic theorem. The theorem states that any composite number can be expressed as the product of the prime numbers. So a square would become, so that means a square is equal to p1, p2, p3, so on to pn multiplied by p1, p2, p3, so on to pn. So that can be expressed as p1 square times p2 square times p3 square, so on to pn square. So we have been given that p divides a square. So based on the fundamental arithmetic theorem, we know that every composite number can be expressed as product of primes, and this factorization is unique apart from the order in which these primes appear. So based on that uniqueness part of the fundamental arithmetic theorem, we can state that the prime factors of a square are p1, p2, p3, so on to pn. But we have been given that p divides a square. So p must be one of the prime factors that are represented over here. So which means p must also be a part of the prime factors that have been represented over here in the first statement, which is a equal to p1 times p2 times p3 times p4, so on to pn. So p is one among these prime factors, which means p divides a, because if that is one of the prime factor, a prime factor should divide that number with a remainder 0. So p divides a. In this way, we are able to prove that if p is a prime number and p divides a square, then p also divides a, where a is a positive integer. So now let's look at irrational numbers. So if you recall from the previous lecture on irrational numbers in class 9, we have discussed that a number that cannot be expressed in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0, then that number is called an irrational number. If you also recall, we discussed that irrational numbers are non-repeating and non-terminating decimals, and they are represented with q complement or s. So in class 10, we will try to apply some of the theorems that we have learned so far and prove some statements. For example, if you are asked to prove root 2 is an irrational number, we can apply some of the theorems that we just learned and prove it. Let's see how we can do that. Now let us try to prove root 2 is an irrational number. Let's assume that root 2 is a rational number. So we will start with the contrary and we'll assume the contrary of this given statement is true. So root 2 is a rational number. So if root 2 is a rational number, then we know that it can be expressed in the form of p by q, where q is not equal to 0. Now p and q can be expressed as a product of its prime factors, right? So p can be expressed as p1 times p2 times p3, so on to pn. Similarly, q can be expressed as a product of its prime factors, q1 times q2 times q3 times, so on to qn. So if we cancel out the common factors of p and q, we will be remained with a product of primes which are unique to p and a product of primes which are unique to q, which means we'll be remained with only the non-common factors of p and q in numerator and denominator. So for example, p2 is equal to q2 and p3 is equal to q3, which means that p and q have common factors p2 q2, p3 q3. So those get cancelled out and we will be remained with a product of prime factors in the numerator and we'll have a product of prime factors in the denominator which do not have any common prime factors. Let the product of the primes in the numerator be a and the product of the prime factors in the denominator be b. We can call a and b as co-primes because both of them do not have any other common factor except 1. So based on this, we can express a as root 2 times b. And taking square on both sides, we have a square is equal to 2b square. So if you observe this, we have expressed a square as product of 2 times b square. And we know that 2 is a prime number and it is dividing a square. So if you remember the theorem, if p is a prime and if it divides a square, then the prime also divides a. So based on this, we can say 2 divides a. So given that 2 divides a, so we can express a as a is equal to 2 times c, where c is some integer. So now taking square on both sides, we have a square is equal to 4c square. But we also know from the previous statement that a square is equal to 2b square. So substitute 1 in 2. So we have 4c square is equal to 2b square. So which means b square is equal to 2c square. So again, if you observe, this is in the form of b square being expressed as product of 2 times c square, which means that 2 divides b square based on our theorem will result in 2 dividing b as well. So 2 divides b. And we have seen earlier here that 2 also divides a. So now we are saying that 2 is a common factor for a and also a common factor for b. So which means that a and b have a common factor 2, which is other than the number 1. But that contradicts our initial statement, which is a and b do not have any factors which are common to each other than 1. Because we said that a and b are co-primes. But now we have shown that a and b have a common factor which is 2, which is contradicting the statement. And this all happened because our assumption that root 2 is a rational number. So based on this, we can say root 2 is a irrational number.